Hi, I'm Michelle. Welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this video, I want to elaborate a little bit more on a subject I covered previously in another video. And that first video was about joint accounts and how joint accounts work. I had a question that was posed by a viewer and I wanted to address that. And the question was, how, or can you, and if you can, how do you designate a pay on death for a joint account? It was a really good question, and the answer was just longer than I could type out. It needs to be an article. So I want to address it here. There are different types of joint accounts depending upon where you live, because each individual state has their own property laws, and joint accounts are a kind of property. It's kind of personal property, and how they are owned and how they are transferred and how they are pledged and how they are inherited is different, but based upon where you live. So you need to ask some questions if you're moving into a new state and the words that they use sound different than what you're used to. Pay on death for a bank account is a designation that notifies the bank that on your death, if this is an individual account, that account is transferred over to the person that you designate. It is not the same as owned joint tenants with rights of survivorship. In that situation, two people own the account now. Their rights to the account are there now, and if they still own the account, when one of them dies, the account is still the property of the other person. So that is not a situation where somebody's getting new rights. They already had those. So if you don't want someone to have the right to get into that account now, you don't want to own it with them in a joint tenant fashion with rights of survivorship, it might be better to do a pay on death designation. That pay on death designation can be changed as long as you have capacity and you are still alive. The person who has the pay on death designation, they're the designee, they do not have rights to the account while you are still alive. So then the question is, can you do this with a joint account? As an example, you have joint tenants with rights of survivorship, which I just mentioned. Both of those people have rights in the account. Both of those people should consent and agree on the pay on death designation. Now, they don't have to. The bank may ask them to, but they don't have to, because like I just said a minute ago, joint tenants means they own an undivided 100% of that account. So either one of them can go write a check and liquidate the account, or go in and just withdraw it all and move it into another account. They have those rights. So yes, you can, in a joint tenants with rights of survivorship, put a pay on death designation, either together or only one person needs to do it. If the account is tenants in common, that's different. Tenants in common mean that two or more people own a percentage of the whole of the account. If there are two people, they each have an undivided 1/2. If there are three people, it's an undivided 1/3, and so on. Four people, an undivided 1/4. They only then have the right as to their percentage. So if I own the account with John and I designate Clark as my pay on death person, and I die before John dies, and there's $100,000 in the account, when I die, John gets his half, which is the $50,000, and Clark can come in and get mine. So I hope this was helpful to you. It's kind of a tricky question. It was a very good question, and if there are any other comments or questions, leave them below. Check back for our other videos. Give us a thumbs up if this was helpful, and please subscribe. I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.